Okay, I guess I'm live. I'm trying to get Kathryn on. So, um, I don't know. She's having trouble getting on. And oh my God, it's so hot here. I want to strip nude, but I guess you guys don't really want to see that. But it's, I don't have my AC plugged in yet. But I'm trying to get Kathryn on here. She is having some trouble. The funny thing is, I sent a link to one of my friends back in Ireland, and he's like really, really drunk. And he just like clicked the link, and he was like, "Hey!" And he was able to get on. Hello, Emmy. Hello, Alan. Hello, Tracy. Hey, Dave. And he just clicked the link, and he was able to get on. But something's happening with Kathryn. She can't. Excuse me. She can't get on. So I'm going to hear from her in a second. So, God, I just want to, like, I should have got a fan or something today. It is so sticky and hot in New England. And I got my Ford E250 van, and I brought it to my mechanic, and he replaced the thing that holds the Freon. You know, the I don't know what the name of it is. Okay, I'm going to have to call Kathryn here. 1 second. Hey, what's up? Do you have is it allowing you to access your microphone and audio? Do you have a laptop? Well, we don't know. Do you actually have a laptop? You don't? Do you have a phone? Try it on your phone. See if that works. Because my friend was in a bar, and he accidentally hit the link, and he came right up. So try it on your phone. See what happens there. All right? All right. Yeah, Alan, it is so. It's just like it went from like 50 degrees to 85, didn't it? It is so hot right now, and like my skin really can't take it. I think it's this side. Yeah, I had basal cell skin cancer, and I thought it was like I thought I was like exotic, and I could go out in the sun and get a nice tan and stuff, but I really can't. And so I used to go out there on the beach and stuff, and just didn't put any sunscreen on or whatever. I traveled all over Europe. I didn't deal with that shit, so I ended up getting this like thing on my face, and I thought it was like a ingrown hair. And it looked, after a while, it looked like a crater with you could, like, your little finger, if you pushed your little finger into your skin, and it had a little, and I would pick at it and it would bleed, and then it would just come back. And I finally went to the doctor, and they're like, it's a basal cell skin cancer. And they had to actually cut my face open right down here. It was like right along the jawline. And it was 17 stitches. I took a photograph of it. My wife almost had a heart attack. But I kind of wanted it to be here, so I looked like a gangster or something, like really tough. But nah, it was like hidden by my jawline. So I was kind of pissed about that. So I'm waiting on Kathryn to come on. I don't know. She keeps getting a white screen when she tries to join. Did my other video come up that I had uploaded the video earlier about my Scientology experiences, and I don't know if it has got published yet. It was taking like hours. The last time I looked, it was 35%, And that was after 2 hours of trying to publish it. No, it's still 62% my journey into Scientology. Hey, Papa. Papa, you doing the rounds tonight? I just saw you on Bigfoot Odyssey. Or, sorry, oh my God, Hidden Existence. Yeah, it's taken so long. It's on my big, powerful computer, too. I built this computer myself. It has some of the most powerful, I sound like Trump here, but it has some of the most powerful computer parts in the world. And I built it myself, and it's very strong, and it's very fast. And it's I tried to upload the video like 2 hours ago, and it's still at 35% or something. So, but it's kind of a funny video. It's just me walking through the woods talking about Scientology, and then I find this footprint, which you can see on my community page. It looks like a human footprint, totally. Oh God, Kathryn can't. I don't know if anybody else can help me out here. I'm on StreamYard, and I can't seem to bring Kathryn on. I wonder if she just joined the chat. Can I bring her on? If she joins the chat, I might be able to actually invite her. Let me just see. I'll just right click on one of your names. No, I don't think that works. Ah, God. Okay. There we go. We'll try that. You know, my friends text me at this time of night from Ireland. They are drunk because it is 5 hours ahead. So what's 5 plus 9? 37. Help me out here, guys. 9. So it's like 2:37. So if my friends are up at 2:37 and are texting me, they're wasted. So let me see if I can get this lady on here. I don't know what the hell's going on. Maybe I'm doing something wrong on my end. I'm sorry, guys. I don't really know StreamYard, so 2:30 a.m. Yeah, thanks, Ramona. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. Up the BHR. Do I know your father? You guys just talk amongst yourselves for a second. I'm trying to figure this out. Sorry about this. So in StreamYard, I don't know if any of you guys use it. I just send the link to someone and they click on it and then they can just appear here. I don't understand. God. I hate this. Invite, email, messenger. Okay, 1 second, guys. Lisa Marsh. Okay, there we go. Oh, Kathryn. There we go.
Oh my God.
How are you doing?
This was the craziest thing I ever did. Trying to get online with you. Oh my goodness.
Believe me, I've done crazier than this.
Oh my Lord. Anyways,
So-
hi. How are you?
So that second link worked.
Huh?
That second link worked that I sent you.
Yes, it did. It did.
Okay,
Didn't
I
work
got
on
it.
my-
It was my fault.
All I kept getting was a white page, and that was it. So, anyways, forget that. We're done. All right. How you doing?
Okay, your hair looks really nice. I love that.
Let me adjust this so I can. I mean, I had my iPad all set up and everything. So let's see if
So
we
what
can
are you
do
on now?
that.
Your phone?
I'm on my track phone. As a matter of fact. Yeah.
Is that a burner phone for all the affairs that you have?
Say what?
Is that a burner phone for all the
Yes,
clandestine affairs that you have?
it is.
I gotta get me one of them. So
I'm gonna punch you.
So you can't. You're
All right,
going to end up damaging your screen.
I'm resting my arm on my knee. All right, there we go. Okay, let's talk. All right, here we go. All right.
Okay, so you came on to my podcast before and we talked about Bigfoot and QAnon. It was highly entertaining, and it was the only podcast that I did that YouTube flagged, and they
Well,
put
yeah,
like
I said cute because I'm cute. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're into QAnon. So they put a little Wikipedia insert. QAnon is a right-wing conspiracy theory thing, and they had to educate us all because we don't because the general population don't know that, and they have to educate us. YouTube,
Right, exactly.
So
we're crazy. We're crazy.
Well, you're going to get challenged tonight, probably from the.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
We got 16 people on here so far, but
all right.
You coming on here with your blonde hair and your 90s kind of vibe, we might get like another 20
90s?
viewers. I don't know.
I am from the 90s. I really am.
I'm from the 80s.
I'm
an 80s kid. Yeah, I grew up with like Slayer, Metallica,
Yeah, me too. Me too. But then when, like, the 90s, I got married, and then I kind of got really calm. Didn't work out so well. So,
and this was in Vermont, right? You told this whole story about Vermont.
No. All right. So where do you want to start with this? Because, it could be all over the place. So where do you want to start?
Let's go back to let's do a quick refresh of how you got to know me and stuff, and your
Okay.
and your first encounters with Bigfoot and stuff. Let's go back into that and your
Right.
grandmother and all that stuff.
Okay. All right. So, well, the way I met you was through Sassacuchas, whatever.
Massachusetts, and they kicked me out because I questioned the leader. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And then you had sent me a text because I had said that I had something going on my property. And so you had sent me a text.
Oh, yes, that's right.
And that's how we started talking. Yeah. So from there, you asked me to go on your podcast, which I did. And yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on my farm, which was in North Granby, Connecticut. I didn't know at the time because I didn't know anything about Sasquatch, really. I knew a little, but, I didn't know that much, But then I had things going on my farm that, they didn't make sense. When you look back at things and you think, that didn't make sense. And so that's what basically happened. And then, remember the show Finding Bigfoot, which was stupid.
Yeah,
it was stupid. I know that. But a lot of the things that they were saying was kind of resonating with me because of things that were going on my farm. And so I think it was about then that I started to kind of wake up to things. Do you know what I mean? Like Sasquatch is kind of the door that opened me to, well, I'm woo. I'm woo now.
Right, yeah, we got to get that out of the way.
Yeah.
We're going to hear some stuff that some people might not agree with, but...
Oh, yeah, I know that. And you know what? It's so funny because I used to listen to, like Sasquatch Chronicles and on Vic Condiff and everything. And so every time somebody would get on there and that was woo, I would shut them off. It's like, you guys are idiots. What do you know?
I can't stand Vic Condiff's voice. His voice is like very horror movie.
I know. We've talked about that. I know. I do too, because he's really, he doesn't sound sincere at all. He sounds really unsincere. But I think he did call me and I did talk to him and he had a normal voice when he talked to me.
Which is my problem. If you're I talk like I talk in real life.
I know. And but like Sasquatch Chronicles, that's really where I started listening and getting information and it was like, oh my God, that happened to my farm. Oh my God. Oh, and then the Outlaws,
Bigfoot Outlaws?
Alabama. You know these guys.
I think so,
Not Alabama. I'm sorry, Oklahoma. Where is it they're from? Where did you go?
Well, I went to Oklahoma with Dave from Bigfoot and More. He's actually in the chat here.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
So he was part of the Outlaws, right?
No, Dave wasn't part of the Outlaws. No, he's got his own thing going. He's an independent kind of a guy. He was in the BFRO for a minute, but then he doesn't like being told what to do, right, Dave? He does his own thing and has his own
hey, Dave.
Ideas.
Sorry. Because I know they kind of fell apart there. But,
no, Sasquatch Outlaws is something different, I think. I've seen them, but I haven't listened to their channel.
Well, they're not really woo at all. They kind of like, no, we don't do that. But from what I have gathered in the past, like, when did I talk to you? It was like 2018, 19? When was that we last talked?
Oh, God, I don't remember.
I think it was 2018, I'm thinking.
That's when I got kicked out of Squatchachusetts.
Yes.
Right.
That's when, yes. And so, I mean, so much has come to light in my world, anyways. I don't know about anybody else, but I can only speak for myself that, I mean, I've learned so much, and it's crazy. It's crazy stuff out there. Especially, I mean, I don't know, like you hear about the orbs.
Yeah, I hear about orbs all the time, and I saw them when they were down there with Bigfoot Odyssey. They did that 168
Right,
thing, and
right,
Chris Noel, actually, I think Chris
right.
Noel
Oh,
actually
yeah,
saw the
yeah,
orbs. He saw
yeah,
them, and he's not
yeah.
a bullshitter. I mean, he's not a flaky kind of a guy.
Oh no, he's not. No, and I appreciate him because I mean he's up in Mount Peoria, and they don't do
Right.
that. They don't do they don't do Bigfoot up there because they're swamp Yankees basically. They don't
They're
do that.
what?
Swamp Yankees.
Never heard of that.
Oh, swamp Yankees. Set in their ways. Don't say anything that comes out of their realm of observation, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, I come from a long line of swamp Yankees, believe me. So yeah, yeah. But yeah, he's amazing. I've watched many of his videos, and I actually wanted to go up there, but I found out how much it would cost, and I said, I can't afford it. So, oh well. But I'd love to go up there because he knows what he's doing. He really does.
He
He
does,
does.
yeah, and he
Yeah, he does.
intellectualizes the whole Bigfoot thing.
Yeah, he does, and he's got it down. Yeah, and I loved it when his daughter was younger, and he would send
Yeah.
her, out there, and she knew because kids know these things. They do. Bring your kids out. Do you bring them out Sasquatching or no?
I've brought my 12-year-old son out just on hikes that there may be activity, but I'm afraid well, I won't bring my daughter anywhere near it just in case. But my son's curious enough, and
Oh,
I've
I
brought him
understand.
out. I've brought him out there to on the edges. I haven't brought him in
Mm,
deep. I'm not bringing him
mm,
camping into Oklahoma, for instance.
mm, right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like with my farm, I really didn't know what was going on. I had no idea, but things were happening on the farm that didn't make sense. And that was before I did Bigfoot. So that was probably, I think it had to be like 2011, 12, when all that crap started, what I
Right.
told you about before. And at the time, I really didn't have a clue. And then when I started watching Bigfoot, and I know they're idiots. I know that. Well, not idiots. I don't want to say that. I mean, you know what I mean.
I
They
like
do
Bobo.
idiotic things to get Bigfoot in, right? But I started watching it and I started seeing, so many, wow, that happened on my farm. And wow, that happened on my farm, and my phone would go dead every time I tried to take a picture when I was at the barn at night.
Right.
Every time I tried to take a picture, no matter how charged my phone was, it would go dead. And it happened to my brother too. My brother would be out there, we're trying to take pictures at night. It would just go, all of a sudden, the phone would just go dead.
Huh.
And we didn't know why. I'm thinking, I don't know. Am I too far away from, I don't know, too far away from Verizon towers? I didn't know at the time, and then just so many other things like with, my horses getting
So
molested.
1 second, Catherine. Derek McManus is asking. He's from Northern Ireland too, Irish guy. He's asking what a swamp Yankee is.
It's just a really, really stubborn, very stubborn person from the north of America, northeast of America, Vermont, basically. Vermont,
Okay.
Maine. Yeah, these
Montpelier, to
people
be
are,
specific.
woo,
I
that's
hear what
what
you're
it is.
saying. Yeah, I hear what you're
Yeah.
saying. Stubborn
like an
as
Irish
in,
guy, you know? You Irish guys are kind of swamp Yankees too. You don't even know it though.
yeah. I'm not too swampy. I'm like pretty open. I'm not stubborn at all.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good.
Not otherwise I wouldn't do this damn channel.
Oh, I know. And you don't give a shit. So that's good.
No.
That's a good thing.
I
And
have.
I got to the point where I don't either. I really don't. You know, I know what I know. I know what I saw. I know what I've, investigated.
So what did you see?
Well, the only thing I really saw was my daughter and I were outside. We're up by the pool, and it was probably 11 or something in the morning, not that late in the day. Hot. We're by the pool, and so how do I explain? So we had the pool, and then there was like a cliff that went up to our other piece of property, and it was pretty much straight down, right? And so there was a tree up at the top of the cliff. So we're sitting there in the pool, or I'm sitting in the it doesn't matter. I was sitting in my chair, and all of a sudden the tree started shaking like crazy at the top. Like shaking crazy, like exploding. And we both looked up, and I saw this black elbow. That's all I can say. It was like an elbow, and then it dropped from the tree, but I couldn't see when it dropped because there was bushes and stuff. And then we heard it dropped, and it shook the ground when it dropped, and then it ran off. And it was bipedal, no doubt in my mind. It was bipedal. And then when that happened, all of a sudden it started to connect. It's like, oh my gosh. And because before that I was like, I don't know if Bigfoot exists. I'd like to believe it does because that's really cool and all that, but I don't know. When that happened, everything that happened on my farm, it all hit. It's like, oh my God.
And this was in Connecticut.
Yes. Right. My farm was probably, you asked about Granville Gorge.
Right.
So it's probably about maybe, as the crow flies, about 5 miles, if that. So, and I know for a fact there has been many reports of Bigfoot in Granville Gorge. And it's not just Granville. I mean, if you look back into history, in Winstead, Connecticut, which is probably 10 miles from Granville Gorge, there was an article in the 1800s about a wild man in Winstead. And they, I guess it was like quite a few farmers had seen him, and they reported it. Wild man, because that's what they called it back then. Wild man. Right. They didn't know. And so I guess, no, I have to send you the article. I mean, it was amazing and then on Sasquatch Chronicles, there was 2 guys that had gone on and said they had encounters right near my house. So, it just kind of, brought it all home to me. So I don't doubt it. I really don't doubt it anymore. I used to think, well, maybe I'm crazy. I don't know what I'm talking about. Or, I just want it to happen.
Kathryn, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
You broke up there for a second. They must be monitoring you.
Oh.
Hello?
It's them. But yeah, so yeah,
it is them.
I used to think like, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe, I'm not crazy. I know what I saw. I know what happened. I know. Yeah. And then we talked last time about the alien invasion. Well, we talked
Yeah.
about what I saw in Rhode Island. Remember that? Remember that? All right.
Was
So
that the?
yeah, so I had gone to my friends and I. We went to Misquamicut, which is part of Rhode Island. It's the beach. It's like the beach to go to when you're teenagers. So I was
Yeah,
like,
I've been there before. Yeah.
yeah. So I was like 19, and me, my friend Brenda, my friend Lisa,
Do you have
and
any
my friend
pictures?
Debbie. I don't have pictures
That's
because
good.
let me tell you what happened. So we're driving. We were almost at the beach. So there's this last stretch of highway with Jersey barriers, and we thought, and so it had to be like 5 o'clock at night, and there was all these cars pulled over. So we looked up, and there was this gray, round, big, had to be a football-sized thingy in the sky. It had like blue lights around it, like fluorescent lights, and it was just hovering there. And I'm not crazy because there was at least, hold on, I have to shut this off.
Something's vibrating.
There was at least 15 or 20 other people out of their cars looking up the same thing.
Yeah, you were telling me that. Yeah, I actually heard that story from somebody else.
Huh? I'm sorry. I just lost your video. Oh, say it again.
No, I heard that story from someone else about
Yes.
the craft and everyone got out of their cars. That's right.
So we stood there for about, I'm going to say, I mean, it felt like it was forever, but it was probably about maybe 10 seconds. And I said, I'm going to go get my camera because we didn't have cell phones back then. So I said, I'm going to get my camera. So I ran to the car. And when I said that, this, whatever it was, this UFO just went, phew, and it disappeared within seconds and it was gone. So I think maybe that was what set me up for woo. I don't know what it was, but all I know is, just too many things happened in my life that tells me something's going on that we don't really know about. And you know it. You know it.
Oh yeah.
I know you. You know it.
Yeah, I know the government are keeping a lot of
Or
things.
you're not
from
going
us.
to admit it.
No, I know the government are keeping a ton of stuff from us.
Right.
It's all coming out now, and there's a lot of actual YouTube channels coming out from England, of all places, since Jimmy Savile.
Where?
England, because England is.
Hold on. I can't hear you all of a sudden.
Oh, really? Can you hear me now?
No, you're not. Yeah, I can hear you.
Might be your reception.
Or your reception. Hold on. Let me get my headphones. That would work.
That's okay. So, yeah.
Walk with me. Walk with me.
I'm just going to talk while you're walking.
We're going to my bedroom.
Oh, really?
Hold on. Hold on.
We're going to your bedroom. Okay.
Oh, here we go. All right, that'll work.
So, since the whole Savile and Epstein thing, there's been a lot of people that have come forward on all of these channels. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I can't really see you. Oh, there we go.
Here I am.
You got to set that phone up against something.
I have to what?
Set the phone up against something so you're steady.
I know. I tried to do that. Ah, shoot. Hold on. All right, here we go. Hold on. 1 second. How's that?
Perfect.
There we go. Okay.
Perfect. So,
all right.
Yeah, that's So all of these people have England and Australia seem to be places. They seem to be centers of Australia, especially. You hear a lot of stories coming out of Australia,
Oh yeah.
and I think it's because it has access
About
to
Sasquatch or
no,
aliens?
no. Child abuse.
Oh,
We can stay on the
oh
Sasquatch thing if
no.
you
Oh,
want.
all right. Yeah, all right.
I'm getting into the whole the government doesn't want you to know this and etc. And I think that
Right.
that's part of it. I think that all these pedophile rings in England and Australia are very prevalent, and I think that the reason why it's very prevalent in Australia is because they're right beside. Australia's right beside Southeast Asia, and life is
Mhm.
cheap there, and people, sell their kids for half an hour there because they're so poor, all that kind of stuff. And there's documentaries done on this stuff, but we don't
Oh,
have to get into that all
absolutely.
now if you don't want it. It's very heavy. It's a heavy
No,
subject.
I don't. Oh no, I've been in it. I know all about it. I
Have you
do
ever heard
know.
of the documentary Eyes of the Devil?
No,
Oh,
who did
I haven't
that?
even watched it because it's on YouTube. It's called Eyes of the Devil, and it's by a Polish documentarian, and he investigates human breeding farms in the Ukraine, and he interviews, and everybody's faces are blurred out, but he interviews people, women that sell their kids at birth into whatever they don't know, but he goes to the other side to find out what happens to these kids. What happens to
Oh,
these
they're
kids
killed.
is,
They're killed. They're sold. They're killed. They're killed
well,
or
first what happens,
sacrificed.
all of the above. First of all, they're um, put into prostitution from their babies. And when they get to 14 years old, they're either sold off to satanic organizations,
Yep,
or they're sliced open and they sell their organs because
that's
and
right.
they have
Organs.
this whole industry where you have these doctors, like this is a big industry, and you have these doctors that
Have
um
you looked into the Uyghurs? What they do to the
the
Uyghurs?
Uyghurs, yeah, same thing, yeah, the Muslims in China, yeah, that's what they're doing, and we're
It'll break your heart. It'll break your heart. You can't.
yeah.
You can't. It's hard to. Some days I just I just have to lay in my bed and pull my covers over my head and just say I can't deal with it. When you know, and it's hard, very hard.
Well, yeah,
And you know about what happened in Ireland monasteries and stuff. You know all that because we
well,
talk
I think
about
they
it.
had 800 kids dug up in Ireland, and they were
And
all like,
then what did they do? They tried to cover it up. They
yeah, they
tried to
did.
say it was what was it? Oh, because of some illness or something. So
Yeah, I can't
we had
remember.
a lot of babies that died. So yeah, we love them. Yeah, bullshit.
Yeah, the nuns took in these
Bullshit.
single mothers, and like when the babies were born, they killed them and buried them, and there was like
Yep.
800 babies or something, and that was like that's Ireland. Ireland's such a nice place, and it was so
It
Catholic.
is, and that breaks my heart. It
Yeah,
breaks my
so
heart
you
that
can imagine what's going on in the Ukraine and Poland and Australia and stuff. So
well, we don't even want to get into Britain until London because we know damn well that's the epicenter of it all.
yeah,
And um I'm not just talking you guys, I'm talking it's the epicenter of the world. It really
yeah.
is. It really is. That's where it started. That's
Well,
where it's gonna end.
Jimmy Savile was a TV
Ugh,
presenter, and he
I
was.
hate him.
I wrote to him. But he had a show called Jim Will Fix It. It was for
I
kids,
remember. Yes,
right?
I
But
know I did. Yeah.
I,
Go
I
ahead.
wrote to him and I said, "Could you fix it for me, Jimmy?" This is what it he ran a show on, and I said, "Could you fix it for me to have a battle with Darth Vader with lightsabers?" He never answered, but a lot of kids did answer, and he would fix it for kids that were sick and dying and stuff, and he would make their dream come true.
Yeah, he
Meanwhile,
would. Yeah,
meanwhile, he was giving all this money to hospitals, and he had keys to the morgue, and he was having sex with dead kids, and a
and it
few
wasn't
people.
just the morgue. It was he had keys to
Oh
the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
mental institution
yeah.
there
He was
too.
having sex with disabled kids.
He
Yes,
had his own little apartment there. He
yeah.
had he had access to all those kids
Well, also
and all those patients.
a few people came out and said that he was part of a satanic ritual. And also Ted Heath, if you go back to the early 70s, the Prime Minister Ted Heath, five
Oh
different
God.
people, five different people came forward and said that they were abused by him. And the reason why they were able to corroborate it is because all five of them said that he had this special technique that he used. And these were all independent witnesses. And they said that he used to wear false arms because he couldn't bear to touch the children when he was having sex with them. So he would attach false arms, and
Oh
all
my
five.
goodness.
And he was the Prime Minister of England in the early 70s, and they
Well,
all
don't
said the
get
same
me
thing.
started on Margaret Thatcher.
Well, Margaret Thatcher was surrounded by pedophiles.
I thought she was the most wonderful person ever.
Right. She
And
surrounded
then
herself with pedophiles. It's crazy.
she
And
did.
Jimmy
did.
Savile did marriage
She-
counseling to
Jimmy-
Princess
Jimmy
Di.
Savile and Margaret Thatcher were good friends, weren't they?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they were.
Jimmy Savile was knighted by the royal family. The royal family, if anybody comes within 100 yards of those guys, they have to have background checks. So they knew about Jimmy Savile and Prince Andrew, and all these people are all scumbags.
Yes,
And
they are.
this will
Yes,
probably
they
get taken
are.
off YouTube. But
I don't care.
Maxwell is in prison right now, and she keeps postponing her trial date, thinking that Prince Andrew's coming to save her.
Oh,
She is a psychopath. And I
God,
spoke about.
yes. And her father was a psychopath, and
Yes, he was.
her mother was a psychopath. They all were psychopaths.
Her father was famous.
That's what
They called him the bouncing Czech, right? Because he was Czechoslovakian Jew, and he ripped so many people off. They called him the bouncing Czech. But when he was in World War II, he was crowned as a war hero. And what he did was this German.
Well, so it wasn't John Kerry. So there you go.
Oh, fuck that guy. But they attacked this French town, and the German occupiers come out and surrendered. And he went up. Not that I really care, but he went up and the German commander was like, "We surrender. We're going to give up and stuff." And the Allies, well, the British went forward, and he went over and shot the commander right in the head. Not that I really care, but that's the kind of a guy he is. He is.
Well, yeah. I mean, and we talked Mountbatten before.
Mountbatten. Yes. Mountbatten, we can get into him. Mountbatten was a prolific pedophile, and he was involved in. Do you ever hear of the Kincora scandal in Northern Ireland?
Yes.
It was a boys' home. It was a boys' home in Belfast, and what was happening was the British intelligence were doing like intelligence on that place, and all of these prominent politicians were taking boys from there and having sex with them and trafficking them, and then they would bribe the politicians to do Britain's will. But Mountbatten kept going there, and he just didn't give a shit. He was like, he didn't care. And I think that British intelligence,
right there.
Well, I think British intelligence gave his information to the IRA, and the IRA blew him up on a boat off the coast of some Irish village.
Is that what you think happened?
Yeah, I think the British intelligence set him up to shut up because he was bringing too much attention, because he was just so blasé about having sex with these kids, these underage boys.
That just broke Prince Philip's heart.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, John Hodges. Yeah, so I think that.
Hey, John.
The whole British establishment, the government, even that liberal guy, what do you call him? What do you call the Labour guy? He is a very well-respected, very left-leaning guy, and all of the working class like him. Oh, what's his name?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, what the hell's his name? Hold on.
Look it up.
He's got a beard, and he's a lot of people think that he's the second coming. in British politics. Um,
Well, that tells you
and
something right there, doesn't it?
and what he did was British Labour Party leader. You'll know his name as soon as you hear it. Jeremy Corbyn. Now, Jeremy Corbyn is a champion of the working class, right? The guy with the beard, you know. He used to have dealings with the IRA back in the 70s. And anybody that didn't really think about it would think this guy is for the working class. And that's a great thing, you know.
And that's what they do.
But back in the 80s, right. So back in the 80s, a guy called Cyril Smith, who was a big Labour guy in Manchester, he was a big fat guy. He was kind of like Winston Churchill, but yeah, but he was going to all of these places that all of the British MPs went to, and he was having sex with underage boys. He was also gay, but that doesn't mean that you're a pedophile. But he was going to all these bathhouses. And
no, it doesn't mean that at all. No.
So all of this stuff was coming out, and Jeremy Corbyn covered it all up. I can't remember exactly how he covered it all up.
Yeah, he did. Oh, yes. And do you remember the two kids?
See, Amy, just leave the audio on, Amy. Amy is nature, spirit, soul hiker. She's a lovely lady.
The two kids that were interviewed, what the heck? They said like, what was the tagline on it was, my daddy sold me or something. They were interviewed, and they said that it was by I think it was a detective or something from Scotland Yard, and he was interviewing them, and they were telling him that their father was a satanic priest, and they would go to school, and they would end up getting raped constantly, and their mother didn't know about it. Do you remember anything about that? I can't remember what they. It was so
I'm not
disturbing.
Sure.
Oh, I'll send you a link. I'll find it. I'll find a link for it. It was so disturbing. And what happened is, so they came forth. They were little kids. God bless them. They had the courage to come forward, and then they disappeared. And so now the big thing is where are they? Yeah, where are they? Because I guess what happened is, I mean, the mother was fighting for them, and they ended up like canceling her. She had no right to them, and they ended up. The father took them, and they disappeared, which is really sad. So they have to be like maybe 19, 20 now. So I'm hoping they'll come forward eventually.
Okay, so let's talk about the McMartin case. Do you know about that?
Yes.
That's what started it all, right? You know about that?
Yeah. Yep.
McMartin in California.
Yeah.
And do you know Ted Gutherson?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Hold on, you're breaking up.
I do. Yes, I do. Ted is my hero.
Is it Ted Gunderson, right?
Yep.
And these kids, now, this is very controversial, but these kids were coming to authorities and saying that they were taken below and underneath the daycare center.
Yep.
And
they were called liars. Kids are lying.
Yes, and they went up to this place. And they went up. Right. And they were flown up to this place in the mountains, right? So Ted Gunderson went back years later when the property was sold with an archaeologist, and they dug the place up, and they found not tunnels, but fresh earth that was different than the native earth there. And the tunnels had been filled in.
But so when they excavated where the daycare was, after the kids
that's what I'm saying.
Oh, I thought you meant up at the mountains. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, good.
No, I'll get to the mountains in a second.
All right, continue. Yes.
Well, yeah, they excavated where the daycare was, and they found the tunnels, and they found like a Disney bag or something underneath the ground that was like from 1985 or something, which proved that it was covered over. I don't know how he put it, but Ted Gunderson actually went up into the mountains where the kids said that they were flowing up into the mountains and ritually abused. So he went up into the mountains surrounding the daycare, and they found this like site, and it wasn't visible from the ground. It was like covered, and there was all these like old walls and stuff. And he found all these like stones with symbols in them, etchings, and he done amazing work, and he matched them up to satanic symbols.
Yeah.
And he figured this is where the kids were brought. Man. So a lot of people have, Ted Gunderson was awesome, and he used to be in the FBI. He was a very credible man. But what happened was, it was all called satanic panic because they found a couple of kids that were, I think, that's fantasizing about stuff.
With conspiracy theorists. That's what they did.
Right.
That's what conspiracy theorists was a term coined by the CIA to shut us up.
By the CIA, right?
Yes.
Right.
Because, and I get that all the time from so many people. Oh, you're such a conspiracy theorist. No, I actually, I notice patterns. I notice things. I notice things that happen, and you have to.
You're breaking up.
Oh, sorry. So I notice things. I notice patterns. That's all a conspiracy theorist really is. We notice things and we connect the dots. That's it. And I guess that's a bad thing. I don't know. It is, according to, well, not just, the libs, but, my family too. I mean, I've been ostracized. I have no family left. I really don't. They all think I'm crazy because I've gone, crazy as far as they're concerned because, like you notice things, you see things, and you know about pornography and all that, and child porn and everything. And I think that there's so many people that they just don't want to know. They just want their happy little world, like my sister. She's got a little farm. She's happy. She's got a little farm. She doesn't want to know anything at all to do with
You're breaking
anything. Up, hon. Oh, shit. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. She doesn't want to know anything to do with.
That's okay. You can curse here.
Anything unpleasant. You know what I mean? And, we have to realize that the world is very unpleasant. It's very unpleasant. And once you realize
do you know about
what?
Oh, you're breaking up and you're totally frozen.
Oh, darn.
Don't you have Wi-Fi?
I do.
I can hear you now. You're fine.
I do have Wi-Fi. It's cheap.
Are you connected to Wi-Fi?
I am, but it's cheap. I have the lowest.
Have you heard about red rooms?
What is it?
Have you heard about red rooms?
No. What's that?
Well, red rooms are they are. Do you ever watch a movie Hostel?
Hostel. I probably did.
Hostel. It was out in the early 2000s, and I wouldn't watch it because it was a movie about these backpackers that went to Czechoslovakia. These guys, and they got like lured by these women, and they ended up in torture rooms, and all these rich people would pay to torture them.
Oh, that's
right?
True.
So red rooms is actually, it's true. And I wouldn't watch it because that's what was happening in Iraq to these Sunnis and Shiites and American soldiers and stuff. And they were like beheading people. I never watched one of those videos. I watched the very, very, very first one.
To watch. Yeah.
Well, the very first one was Daniel Pearl. If you ever remember him, he was at New
Oh
York
God, yes.
Times.
Oh yeah.
And that was in Pakistan, and they captured him, and they cut his head off, and they
Oh,
sawed
they
his
did.
head off, and I was like,
Right on camera.
right, and I heard of this video, so I was like, oh my God, they just cut his throat and he falls dead, like the movies. So I clicked on it, and it was this grainy footage. It was black and white, and these
Of
guys,
Daniel Pearl getting beheaded.
yes, and these guys held him down, and he was on his
Right.
side, and he was looking up at the camera, and it's like, if you ever watch a cow, not many people have seen this, but you ever see a cow or something getting slaughtered, it has that look.
Oh yeah.
That animalistic look, and he was looking up at the camera like that, and they put the knife into the side of his neck and sawed outwards.
And it was
And
a
you could
dull knife. It was
and
a dull knife.
I could not sleep for weeks after that. So that was way before the Iraq invasion and stuff. So you saw all these beheading videos. I couldn't watch one of those. So
All right, can I tell you about a video I saw
sure.
with the Uyghurs?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you about Red Rooms right after this. Go ahead.
All right. So it's a video. The guy is talking and he's Muslim. And somehow he gained access to this place where the Uyghurs, what they do when they're not useful anymore, they use them for their organs. And it was like a freaking meat house. They had people. They had like the metal things holding their chins up. Like when you go to a dry cleaner and they have that thingy, that holds your clothes and it goes round and round.
Yeah,
It was like that. It was like that, but it was dead Uyghurs, right? And then the guy is outraged. I don't know how he got access, but he did. And this is probably what this was what woke me up. He goes into the other area and there are freaking body parts chopped up all over the floor. There's blood everywhere. And there's gurneys with people's heads on the gurneys. These are the Uyghurs. And this is what China does to them. And it was probably, well, not the most shocking thing I've seen, because I've seen a few shocking things, but this was like, this is what CCP does to people that don't agree with them. And the ones they don't kill.
Well,
go ahead.
No, I was going to, it was on my end. It was my Ethernet cable had become unplugged and I was running on Wi-Fi, so it's my end, so it's not you. Go ahead. So these Uyghurs were being butchered for their organs.
Yes, and their blood, because we know what they do with the blood.
No. Tell us.
You know about adrenochrome.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of it. And that actor from The Passion of the Christ, what's his name?
Oh, Jim Caviezel.
Yes, and he came out and Jim Caviezel.
Yes,
he was also
him. I love him. Yes,
he's great. He's a big fan of Mel Gibson. I love Mel Gibson.
Well, Mel Gibson knew a long time ago.
Exactly.
When he was saying the fucking Jews, they're taking over Hollywood. And I'm not talking about the real Jews. I'm talking about the Philistines, the ones that pretend to be Jews. They're not Jews. They're not Jews. Yeah, and that's who runs Hollywood, basically.
Well, I think that let's go back to Jim Caviezel. He actually did not a TED talk, but he did some. Maybe it was a Christian thing because he's a big Christian. That's why he did the Passion of the Christ.
He is. He's very Catholic.
He also did the Thin Red Line. He was awesome in that. Do you ever see that movie? It came out the same time as Saving Private Ryan.
And he's also in Person of Interest, which I loved.
He's so handsome.
That was a great show.
He's one of the most handsome guys I've ever seen, and I'm not gay, but he.
You're right up there with him. You're right up there with him, Cornell.
Oh, I wish. Thank you, but I have to reject that compliment. But yeah, he was going on about.
I hear Jim has great knees. Sorry.
Don't even start. But he went on about, he did this Christian conference where he spoke about adrenochrome, and he didn't come out and say it, but he like talked around the edge of it. So,
yep.
Jim Caviezel, Mel Gibson, I have high regard for. He did some of the best movies I've ever seen. He did, and I think he's a good guy. But he is a drunk, and I think what happened. That's okay, but I think what happened to him.
What he's saying.
Right, exactly, and I think that he went down a road, and he was probably seeing stuff, and then he got drunk that night, and he exploded, and it turned into a racial thing. Absolutely. And he didn't. He said it wrongly. It was stupid. He was drunk.
He did. He was drunk. I say wrong things when I'm drunk too.
Oh my God! I wish I could go back and erase half my history.
Well, you can't. So
no, I can't unless I just kill myself.
That's fine.
So you saw these videos of the Uyghurs, and how do you feel about that? America. 9/11 kind of started all this shit. George Bush. And, what do you feel about that?
Oh. Well,
we don't have to say that America made this situation happen.
No. Oh, no. The America I thought I lived in, it never existed. It really didn't. And I was so pro George Bush. Oh, God. Especially after 9/11. I mean, I was out there. George Bush.
Oh,
so
everybody was like,
"Oh, what a wonderful man he is."
We want revenge, yeah.
And then I find out, he's nothing but a Nazi. He's a child of Nazis.
Well, his
daddy was a Nazi.
His great-great-grandfather was Aleister Crowley.
Yes.
Right?
Because
or his great-grandfather.
Father.
Right? Aleister Crowley was look him up, anybody. Aleister Crowley, and I was in his cult, the OTO. I've read a lot about Aleister Crowley, and
let's talk about Scientology because what's his name? The Scientologist guy. He was involved too. Yeah.
Let's get into the red rooms first before we go on to Scientology, because I actually just did a whole video on Scientology. I don't know if it's uploaded yet because it's taken forever.
Did you? Oh.
Yeah,
I know all about that too.
Yeah, I did a hike and explained my journey into Scientology. I was also in the OTO, which is the Aleister Crowley cult. I was also into Buddhism, but Buddhism is cool.
What do you mean you were into it? You mean you joined it? You were part of it? Or?
I joined the OTO, yeah. Aleister Crowley's organization.
Wow.
I was initiated, yeah.
Oh,
but
myself
and my first love were initiated at the same time. And then she dumped me and started dating this guy 5 years younger. And I was brokenhearted, and he was part of the cult as well. So I just got away from it. And I'm like, screw this. I'm getting out of here. So then I was like 23, and I just surrounded myself.
Were you in Ireland then? Or?
Yeah. So I got into the rave scene, and it was like full of chicks on ecstasy and, nightclubs and stuff. So I just totally forgot about her.
Then. So boring. Okay.
So I had a laugh. But red rooms. Let's talk about red rooms for a second. Red rooms are kind of a myth on the internet. It's like a dark web thing where red rooms are a place where they get people just like the real Jews. I don't know, Dave. We'll come back to that actually. Red rooms are a place where they get people and they torture them online, and people join the chat room, and they pay
lots of money
to exact tortures upon them. And people thought it was a myth, but all these people, well, they had this case in Italy lately that these people have been caught, and Australia too. they've been caught torturing
Everywhere.
people.
Everywhere.
Like that guy in Australia, what's his name? Oh my God, I can't remember his name, but
God
he
of
was
God.
no. He was
Oh, okay.
he was what they had done was they got a 18-month-old baby and hung it upside down and tortured it for
Oh, Lordy.
the people watching, yeah, and sold the videos. That's what a red room is.
So you know that the people.
Hold on a second. Dave has a question.
Yes.
It's on the screen.
I can't read it.
It says, "So who are these real Jews you're talking about?"
Who are
Honest,
the what?
who are these real Jews you're talking about? That's an honest question.
Oh, well, the real Jews were they followed the Torah. They were actually, they loved God. They followed God's teachings from the Torah. And then there were the Philistines who were, pretending to be Jews. Basically, they're the ones that, had Jesus killed. So, when you say, a lot of people say, well, the Jews killed Jesus. Well, it wasn't the Jews. It was the people pretending to be Jews, just like the people pretending to be Jews now, like Hollywood. They're not Jews. They're not Jews. I mean, they follow Kabbalah. They follow what is the other I can't remember the other one, but Kabbalah is, it's all in. I mean, they're all into that.
That's what Madonna's into.
Yes, they all are. And it basically comes down to torture because they want the adrenochrome. That's what it's all about. It's always been about that.
Have you seen the movie Eyes Wide Shut?
Oh God, yeah.
I think that I keep talking about this because I think it is so relevant. I think that the director was trying to tell us something before he died. He died shortly after that.
Oh yeah.
Kubrick, yeah. He died soon after that.
Yes, he did. Well, they killed him. Basically.
You think so?
Oh yeah, he wasn't supposed to tell us. He wasn't supposed to tell us, but he did. And damn well, I don't know if you want to get into this, but the whole NASA NASA.
No,
what do you think about that? NASA.
NASA?
Moon landing.
Oh, NASA. Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Well, yeah, he was brought in. I don't know.
He made the video. He made the movie for them. But that's just me. I'm not. I know what I know. That's all I know.
So you think the moon landing was fake?
Oh God, yes.
What does anybody else think about that?
Yes, let's hear.
Yeah, I want to hear what people.
Lots of crap about that one.
I mean, I'm on the fence. I mean, anything's possible with our governments.
All right, Cornell, go back and look at some of the NASA videos. All right, first of all, the first mission, which landed on the moon, how did they videotape that? How did they get footage of that? Did they send a camera ahead of time to land on the moon? I don't remember that.
I don't know.
69. Do you remember that? Because they have video of the Apollo landing on the moon. How did they do that?
I didn't know about that.
Know. Well, yeah. Oh. No, we don't. I mean, this is a whole nother topic.
Oh, I know.
That it could take all night.
I know. There's so much out there that they're not telling us. Like, forget Bigfoot. Bigfoot's just a wholesome. Like, I mean, if they didn't uncover the truth about Bigfoot, I'd understand. It's understandable. It's like a wholesome.
Well, they have. I mean,
they don't want to frighten the public and lose money, and that's understandable. But this other stuff.
Well, it's not just that. It's if you go. All right, we talked about this. I told you when I was talking to you offline about the connection between aliens and Bigfoot. And if you don't believe in aliens, you're going to think, oh, she's crazy. But when you do your research, you find out that, and this is going to blow your mind, and I think we talked about this, that actually Bigfoot was here before we were, and Bigfoot was actually before we were, and we are part of Bigfoot. I mean, people want to think that, oh, Bigfoot is part of us. Go ahead.
Yep.
Did I just
We're part of them.
mind?
We got a couple of questions coming in. Kevin Moyna.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes. Well, I've thought this before, but Kevin Moyna, and I can answer this myself. Why would they fake it? Well, because of the arms race, and they wanted to get there first. America wanted to get there first.
And what
so
they actually really
I can answer that question myself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I have another question. Can you see that?
No.
Or is it just coming up on my end? Just curious, Kathryn, do you believe they actually... Okay, just curious, Kathryn, this is from Mary Daniel. Just curious, Kathryn, do you believe we actually launch rockets? Well, I think they do because we hired all those Nazi scientists from the...
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah, we rock. Yeah. Rockets? Absolutely. Do they go straight up? Hell no. They don't.
Well, no, they have to make the correction for the Earth's orbit.
Yes.
Hold on.
But...
Okay, so Mary Daniel says, I'm only asking because I live right there and watched every single launch since 1978.
Oh, yeah, we all did. Yeah, we all did. There's a lot of crisis. You have to ask her if she's heard of crisis actors, or they're not actually crisis actors. There's actors that NASA has employed for years. But that's a whole nother topic.
Okay, we got another
into all that.
We got another perspective. Alan Perrialt says, Cornell, all the NASA film is fake. We may have gone to the moon, but the films and the photos are fake. I lean towards that. That could be true.
Absolutely.
They could have. They might have gone to the moon, but maybe later. But they wanted to get the jump on the Russians. I don't know.
Do you know who Bill Cooper is? Anybody?
Yes.
Anybody out there? Okay.
I know Bill Cooper. He died he died in a shootout with the FBI, right?
He did. Well, they killed him. Yeah.
He was a famous. Is he the guy that wrote? What was his book?
I can't remember. All I know, I've watched every video he ever put out, and he had a book called right on.
Right, he had a book called "This Way Evil Comes" or something like that, and
something like that. Yes, yes.
It could have been written. Yes. It could have been written a year ago.
He knew his stuff, and Bill Cooper. If you ask him, he would tell you. Yes, they went to the moon. What did they find when they went to the moon? That's the question.
Behold a pale horse. That's it.
What?
Behold a pale horse.
Yes, that's what it was. Yes.
That could have been written a year ago.
So close, but not really. Yes. No,
not at all.
But I agreed with you. So, but yes. So, yes, we went to the moon. We did. Is it what happened with NASA? No, NASA was designed to make up a really good story because they don't want us to know what they found on the moon. That's all. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, so you just answered
and Bill
Bigfoot
Cooper believes that too.
You just answered Bigfoot and Moore's question. Do you think we landed on the moon? I definitely think we did. What did they find on the moon? What did they find? Tell us. I'm waiting.
Oh, Lordy. Okay, lots of stuff. All right, there's craters on the moon, and they are not craters, natural craters. They are craters because all right, I'm going to go ahead and say it. All right. So the moon is really not part of our galaxy. The moon is actually a satellite that was put here
Okay.
by aliens. Not the good aliens either. And what is on the moon is lots of bad stuff. There's a lot of bad stuff going on in the moon. And people will say, oh, what the fuck are you talking about? It's true. It's true. And Mars, yes, we've been to Mars. We've been to Mars many times. And I'm not talking about recently. I'm talking about way back before they tried to erase all of our knowledge. And so Mars has been, there's people on Mars. There's all kinds of things on Mars. And it's been going on for years. And that's what they're keeping from us. They really are. And it's all being revealed. And all right, Cornell, you saw that picture I showed you over my apartment? What the hell was that?
The one with your legs?
No, not the legs. I'm talking that thingy over my apartment building. What the hell was that?
I'll have to put it up on.
What was that?
I thought it was a cloud formation. I'll post it up on the.
Look at it. Yes, you need to post it. That's no cloud. What? When have you ever seen a cloud formation like that?
Hold on.
It doesn't make sense. Go ahead, post it.
Well, I can't post it because I don't pay for this service, so I can't post photographs. But I can. Hold on. Where the hell is it?
That was no cloud formation.
Hold on. Alan Perrialt seems to. Okay, we got some interesting insights here. I'm gonna put that one up. I've seen videos where people have claimed that
are they thinking I'm crazy or what?
No, well, we've got it like a 50-50 thing.
Okay, good.
Mary Daniel, I've seen videos where people have claimed that astronauts were warned never to come back to the moon, but that's obviously hearsay. Alan Perrialt, who lives quite close to me and has had an actual Sasquatch encounter, maybe 20 miles away from me, out in Spencer in Massachusetts. I'm going to go out with him one day. He said, watch a press conference held in August 1969 with the astronauts on stage. The three astronauts look like someone is at their homes with guns to their children's heads.
They were scared to death.
Wow. I didn't know about that. That's crazy. I never even thought about this stuff. I just kind of brushed it off as a conspiracy theory talk.
Oh, I never, you know what? And here's the thing. All right. So I was kind of a normal girl back in, 2000, let's go 2008. I had my farm, I had my husband, I had my kids. I was a born again Christian. I never even said F word. I never said that. F word. No. All right. So when I realized I had Sasquatch on my property, it was like a whole world opened up to me. It's like, oh my gosh. So if there's Sasquatch on my property, what else are they not telling us about? So that just like, it just opened up my world, and so I want to say Sasquatch is what woke me up, really. And so it's and so you have to ask yourself, so if they're going to lie about that, what else are they lying about? So then of course you have to start looking at this and that and that, and that's what happens. That's what happens if you are, interested in pursuing the truth. If you're not, you'll just say, I'm going to go back and watch Kardashians. That's it.
Or NPR, or my wife listens to NPR and like NPR is like probably the best kind of
It's the best,
you've
but
got,
it's still bad.
yeah, it is so bad. I mean,
It is.
the way
It is.
the way they manipulated information coming to us in this last 4 years is disgraceful. And I'm not saying that they're
Well,
lying.
they'll throw in a little bit of truth here and there just to legitimize themselves, but it doesn't. Yeah.
Well, even
Yeah,
during the
it
Iraq
doesn't.
War, I remember I would really listen to NPR during the Iraq War because they were the only ones that weren't like, what's the word for it? Like,
Sensationalizing or
yeah, they weren't really behind it, and they were like kind of partial, and they would have these generals on, and they would have like military, military. What's the word for it? God, like
intelligence.
corporals and like lower rank guys,
Oh yeah, okay.
and they would let them tell their stories to a certain extent. But I read I think I read like about 20 books on the Afghanistan and Iraqi war around that time because I was obsessed with it, and I didn't listen to journalists. Well, I did if they were embedded, but I didn't listen to politicians. I didn't listen. I listened to journalists only if they were embedded. But the people that I listened to were the soldiers on the ground, and what they went through, and what their thoughts were, and and I'm sure there's many more books out since then. But what I found was very surprising. They're like,
oh right,
they weren't all like waving the flag and saying this is great. And I know that they can't come out and say,
I know.
They can't really come out and say it. They can't come out and question why they were there because they were there to do a job. But and they did say that, one Navy SEAL said he, busted this house for terrorists and they found this like disabled child that had been sexually abused that was chained to the bed. All this horrific stuff.
Oh yeah.
And yes, it was horrific, but I'm sure you can find that kind of shit here too. And you do find that kind of shit here.
Oh, absolutely. Everywhere. It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
So it's not just Afghanistan. It's Australia. It's England.
So it is everywhere. And let's get into Q for just a second.
Okay, one second. I got to get a drink. Keep talking.
I do too. Let me go get a drink too.
I'm just drinking my pomegranate juice.
Oh, that's healthy.
It's pomegranate and
water.
blueberry. It's so good. I've had like 3.
Oh, my son used to love that. I used to have to buy that for him every week. He loved that. Very good.
That's so good.
All right, hold on.
Okay, so we got some people saying here that we landed on the moon. I think we did.
Okay. Well,
but that doesn't mean that.
I didn't say we didn't. I'm just saying it's not the narrative that they told us. That's all.
Well, the problem is when the government lies to us, we question everything that they did. I mean, we go back and like look at Vietnam and Pearl Harbor and 9/11 and stuff and the moon landing and.
Oh, absolutely.
And any reasonable person would go back and like look at all this stuff and think, well, if they're lying about this, then they could be lying about that. And
absolutely, and that's what happens. I mean, it opens a gateway, and it's like, holy shit.
Listen, I grew up in Northern Ireland, right? And there was daily attacks. Every day there was like 3 different.
You're talking about them throwing
coffee jar bombs, right?
Cocktails. They would pay the kids to do that or something.
What happened was in Northern Ireland, the media was like pro-British, right? It was like mainly ran by the Protestant elite. Right. And what would happen was when there was an IRA attack on a British position, say the IRA killed a few British soldiers, that would be, oh my God, there'd be a minute's silence. There'd be people dropping wreaths and there'd be reprisal attacks. People began like killing Catholics and stuff. But when a Protestant paramilitary would go into a bar and like just gun like 6 random Catholics down in a Catholic bar, there wouldn't be any of that. They would say something about it, but there wouldn't be this like day of mourning or anything. They wouldn't really care as much. It's different now, but I remember
it's kind of like Israel and Palestine.
It's exactly the same thing.
Really?
That's why I am kind of pissed off at Israel.
Same playbook.
I think what they're doing is wrong. But what happened was, and in my town, it was a big Protestant town. It was like 80% Protestant. And they had this agreement in 1985 called the Anglo-Irish Agreement, and the Protestants weren't happy because it gave the south of Ireland more say in Northern Ireland's affairs. And the Protestants went on a rampage, and they burned, I think it was, they went around the Catholic homes and burned them out of their homes, like through Molotov cocktails through their windows. And it caused like a mass exodus.
Does that sound Christian to you? It doesn't sound.
No, it's more political and territorial.
Absolutely.
It's very little to do with. It's all cultural. The Catholics and the Protestants are both Christian, but in Northern Ireland, the Catholics are like Irish Catholics, and the Protestants.
We have to ask ourselves who is. Well, you saw that thing about when you take black ants and red ants and you put them in a jar, and they're fine until you shake the jar up, you shake it, and then they'll start killing each other, and they'll kill each other to the death. And
I never knew about that.
The moral of that story is, who shook the jar? They were getting along fine. So who shook the fucking jar?
Well, Britain did, because they colonized Northern Ireland in like way back 1600s.
Doesn't Britain always? They always shake the jar. They do. Same with Israel. Who's shaking the jar? Who's shaking the jar?
Well, America's shaking the jar.
Well, yes, because because they have a vested interest in Israel not succeeding, but also Palestine not succeeding, because there's money in that. There's money in it. That's what it's all about. And it's always been about that. So who's shaking the jar?
Yeah, it's a good philosophical angle to it. I'm just sad that
it is,
like, now that Northern Ireland has everybody's like, but if I had went into a Protestant area and went into a bar in a Protestant area and they had found out I was Catholic, I would have been taken into a back room and tortured to death.
How long ago was that? Like recently, or? I have no idea.
I would say
I don't know what's going on there now, but
I would say up until, well, maybe even now, but I would say definitely up until the mid 90s, from the early 70s. I would be killed.
The Beatles came out with that song, "Give Ireland Back to the Irish."
Yeah, that was John Lennon.
Remember that song? John Lennon. Yeah, I was like 12 years old, and I was like, "Give Ireland back to the Irish." I had no idea what I was talking about, but it sounded good.
It sounds good, but
yeah,
I don't even agree with that, because I think that if that happened, there'd be all sorts of chaos.
They kill each other. Oh yeah.
I think Northern Ireland at this point should just stay on its own, and
Yep.
If Britain pulls out, there'll be a civil war, I think.
Yeah. So
it's a very
we didn't
fragile
really
piece.
We didn't really get into the woo this time.
We didn't.
But well, a little bit maybe. Not as much as I would like. But we have to do this again. Definitely.
Yeah. I know it's an hour and 30.
Yeah, there's a lot of, it's getting late here. I have to go check on my neighbor. I'm taking care of her, so I gotta go check and make sure she's still alive.
Oh, it's nice of you. So, is that the one that was in the ER?
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
You went. It was St. Francis Hospital. which is the Catholic Hospital of Hartford, Connecticut, which was the standard. You would not believe how awful it was. It was so dirty, disgusting. There was blood on the floor. There was crap all over the place. It was terrible.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I know.
That's because they're paying
So
they're paying all the lawyers to get child sex offenders off.
I don't know what it could be. All I know is I'm not going back there again. Never, ever, ever.
Well, that's the deal with the Catholic
Anyway.
Church. All these old people leave all their properties to the Catholic Church because they have nobody else to leave
Oh,
it to.
I know.
And they sell those properties.
To do that too.
Well, they sell those properties to pay for lawyers to fight against child sex abuse cases. That's true.
Yeah, that's pretty disgusting, isn't it?
That's a Catholic Church for
They're
you.
not going to get
And that's
away
what
with
I grew up in.
They're not getting away
If
with
my
it.
if my grandparents were alive right now, they would be totally disgusted because when the priest came to my house, chocolate biscuits were brought out. The best china in our house was like uncovered, and when a priest came to your house, he'd be like treated like the Pope. So
yeah, absolutely. They were
but it's all different now.
Royalty, and we know what royalty is all about, don't we? So yeah.
Yeah, we're starting to know. Well, I'll let you go, Kathryn.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, great talking to you. We'll talk soon. Oh, we have to go to Greenville Gorge. We'll talk soon. Okay.
I will talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right. See ya. You just hang up. I want to keep this conversation going, Kathryn. So, yeah, Kathryn's out of here. So that was interesting. We got 22 people here. I'm going to have to kick Kathryn. I think she's just dead anyway. Okay. So, closing thoughts. The lab, it's not a complicated issue. Let me just look at that up on the screen. Land distributor is old as land itself, and it's every form of the food chain, like the salad. Like she said, the red ants and the black ants, lions and tigers. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty interesting analogy. Is anything real, Kevin? I don't know, but I know that we've got to go camping very soon. My friend was, my daycare lady's husband was just camping with his friends out in what's the river out there? What's the river out there in Western Mass? Deerfield River. He was camping on that, but he was in a campground. But I want to find somewhere off the beaten track that we can camp. That's not in the campground, so that'll be fun. I wonder, is my video up from earlier? How long is this going for? 1:33. I'm going to end it soon. But I just want to see if my video is live yet, because it took forever. My God, it's taken like Savoy State. I don't know. I've never heard of that place. So yeah, Kathryn was entertaining. She got some interesting perspectives. And you might not agree with her on some stuff, but I think some stuff that she brought up was worth looking into. You know, I'm on the fence about the moon landing. Actually, I really don't care about the moon landing. I care more about stuff that's going on right now involving our our children. That's what I care about, because that's our what's the word for it? I can't remember. But the next generation is what I care about, and what's going on now. It might not, Neil. It might not last. After the stuff I've talked about tonight, they might boot me right off YouTube. Yeah, I'm just doing this for fun, you know. Yeah, children are our future, yeah. So, yeah, right. So, I'm only really, I don't really care about the moon landing. I don't really care about UFOs. I mean, I do. I'm interested in it. But I think that there are more urgent matters at hand that we all need to be paying attention to. And that's kind of what I'm trying to branch off in with the channel. Like Bigfoot. I don't really care if Bigfoot is accepted by the mainstream or not. I think it's better if it's not. And I've said this ad nauseum. I really don't care. I think if it is like accepted as a species, it's not going to, go well. Either way, I think it's going to be a shit show, really. Yeah, Papa, that's true. I mean, I think there's bigger things at stake. I don't know. I've got so many messages on my my messenger. Yeah, Neil, we probably did. But I mean, global warming. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that is something that we have to worry about for the future of our kids. Definitely, global warming is a big one. Gout. Yeah. Right. Yeah, the powers that be might want to shut down the forests and protect Bigfoot. They'll zone in on that. They'll use the BFRO as a compass, and they'll anywhere there's been a sighting, they'll just like totally put the yellow tape up and stop us from going in there. And they'll go in and start studying. That's the kind of thing I can see. The place where Dave and I goes, if anybody's reported a sighting in there, man, I don't know. All of a sudden, Dave and I might drive down that road to our secret spot, and there'd be a big barrier up there, conservation area, and we won't be able to get to it. That's what I think would happen. All these advocates for Bigfoot being a recognized species, like Todd standing and stuff. I don't know. I'm very skeptical about that whole thing. Mainstream media does want everybody at each other's throats. Right. That's why they let the riots go on over the summer, so that we'd all get racist and stuff and hate each other, and it'd be left versus right, and and then you get the storming of the Capitol. That's exactly what they wanted to happen. Those idiots running into the Capitol building just played right into their hands. It's like, and those people, BLM, like burning like whole streets down. That's just what they want. I'm very skeptical of all this stuff. Anyway, I'm going to shut this down. It's already 1:39. And anybody else has any questions, hit me. All right, guys, good night, and thanks for joining the show. And thanks for taking the time to pop in and say hello. It was a pleasure.